Chancellor Wilson, I want to thank you for inviting me to address this convocation. It's a great honor to speak on behalf of the thousands of outstanding scholars, researchers, and teachers. To the class of 2019, you made it. Welcome to the University of Illinois. You have chosen one of the world's great research universities. This is a place that reaches out locally and around the world to create and use knowledge to address critical challenges. For you, attending a great research university will mean unlimited opportunities. That is what Illinois has meant to me. Because of my work at Illinois, I have learned from people and places around the world. I've been at a refugee settlement in Uganda where a young man told me there was nothing he could call his own except his name. He had little hope because he saw no future. Thinking beyond his existence today was a luxury he could not afford. Because of my work here, I have met people like him in Asia and South America, and even here in Illinois. On a visit to India, a woman in a community we work with asked why I was at Illinois instead of India. I replied that I'm able to work in impoverished corners of the globe because I'm here at Illinois, where I can pursue knowledge for its own sake and reach out to the world. In these few minutes, I will speak to you about my Illinois experiences and how they can help in your journey. I grew up in tropical India, where I earned a degree in mechanical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology. During that time, there was one thing I did very well. I played the card game Bridge in national competition. Bridge is different from the typical games or sports. If I played basketball with LeBron James, he would dunk every time he had the ball and block all my shots. Just visualizing that is hilarious. In Bridge, I have a chance against the world champions. Why? Because no one knows the layout of the cards. Bridge is not just statistics, it is statistics and psychology. So to me, if engineering were a game, it would be chess, and Bridge, the game I love, is more like the social sciences. That is how I came to learn more about myself and to switch from engineering to business for my PhD. Now, I had never been outside of India. I had never been on an airplane, but 30 years ago, I moved to Minneapolis to attend the University of Minnesota. Within a few days, on September 24th, 1985, as I walked toward the Mississippi River Bridge, some white flakes fell from the sky. They called it snow. It remains the earliest measurable snowfall on record. I had so much to learn, but I did learn. I learned that the sandals I wore almost every day in India were not meant for snow. I learned about a culture much different than mine. I learned to layer clothes to stay warm, and eventually I learned enough to earn a PhD in business. And then I joined the faculty here at Illinois. The decision to come to Illinois was life-changing for me, as it will be for you. Almost 2 decades ago, I began studying consumers, entrepreneurs, and marketplaces in context of poverty. I have to first say that I have never experienced poverty. So keeping that in mind, how does somebody like me explain what poverty is based on my research? Consider my experience today. I drove my car here. Everything I used worked very well. The roads were good, my car worked fine, and so did my cell phone. And if something did not work, I always have a fallback, a cushion, some other way to achieve my goals. But if I take away all that certainty, then I have poverty. If I'm uncertain about my next meal, I have poverty. If I don't know where the cooking fuel is going to come from, if I don't know the quality of the water or the staple food, then I have poverty. Poverty is so much about uncertainty, and it is about the lack of a large margin of error to fall back on. But I can tell you from experience that the most challenging conditions of poverty also represent opportunities for transformative solutions, for really making an impact on people's lives. We work at the intersection of poverty and marketplaces in an area of scholarship created here at Illinois that I call subsistence marketplaces. When we enter one of these marketplaces, we always use a bottom-up approach, beginning with researching the life circumstances of people who live there. I was in a forest in Tanzania 2 years ago, and a young man of the Maasai tribe asked me, being a professor from a great university, for help. He wanted to overcome poverty without compromising the culture that his tribe holds dear. I said that I will need to be a student first, to learn about them before I could offer good solutions. I have a friend who developed a solar cooker for people who traditionally cooked with wood. But finding wood is increasingly difficult as forests shrink. And wood stoves produce a lot of unhealthy smoke. But the solar cookers caused a different type of problem. The women used the solar cooker in the afternoon when the sun was out. The men returned from work after dark and were angry because their meal was cold. We cannot anticipate how our solution will work within a culture unless we first understand that culture. Our research into subsistence marketplaces has been about listening carefully to people, very different from us, whose voices have been largely unheard. In light of the magnitude and urgency of the challenges we see, our impact is minuscule. But over a lifetime, and by educating students, researchers, practitioners, and communities, we hope to change many lives for the better. This journey has taken us to so many places, from villages destroyed by a tsunami in India, to refugee settlements and tribal communities in Africa, and urban neighborhoods in Latin America, from adult education centers to soup kitchens here in Illinois. Here's the first lesson from my Illinois journey. Don't miss the opportunity to visit places and meet people very different from you, culturally and socioeconomically. This university, your university, is one of the top 3 destinations for international students who attend universities in the United States. There are people here from all around the world, from every state in the US. So you don't have to go far to begin exploring and listening, to interact with people and settings very different from those you are accustomed to. Open yourself to them and listen carefully. You will expand your imagination, increase your knowledge, and be better prepared to solve the challenges you face. I took a group of students to an Indian village that had been hit by a tsunami. It seemed like the entire village was there to greet us. And we began to listen. They told us how the tsunami hit, how they ran, how they searched until they found the bodies of their loved ones. And then they told us what happened in the aftermath where much of society failed them. They were given housing that collapsed and land away from the water where for generations they had made their livelihood by fishing. As I translated this conversation, I looked at my students and I looked at the villagers. And I thought, no effort is too much to make this meeting of different cultures possible. The villagers, in their great need and in their sorrow, were expressing the raw human emotions that tragedy exposes. And my students had heard and understood, in a small way, a reality they never would have been exposed to at home. They were transformed by a moment that continues to inform how they see and think about the world. Exposure is education. So how do you get this kind of exposure? Allow yourself to move outside your comfort zone. Throw yourself into new situations. Find ways to interact with other people who have their own experiences and perspectives. And what you gain from this exposure, I call flexibility. Flexibility in thinking, feeling, and acting. Adapting and learning in different situations. Accepting that some of our assumptions might be wrong. Being nimble to step back and see the big picture as well as the immediate goal you are pursuing. Exposure also develops a flexibility of feeling. It's okay to feel sympathy and empathy, even remorse or guilt or anger. What matters is what you learn from it in order to develop your mind, to develop who you are. Our research depends on the generosity of people in sharing the most difficult moments of their lives. There is nothing more important than having an empathetic conversation with a sincere intent to understand them for who they are. When I think of my own development, I value my ability to interact with people very different from me the most. It is central to who I am as a person. Exposure and the flexibility that develops leads me to speak of failure. I have encouraged you to take yourself out of your comfort zone so that you can grow as a person. And if you do that, you risk failure. Well, you've come to the right place because the University of Illinois is one of the best places in the world to fail at things worth succeeding in. By the way, I'm not talking about failing classes. I'll tell you right now how to pass every class and go through every college experience with little anxiety. Be prepared for class. Even better, be ahead of the game. That's it. Your stress level won't go through the roof. The next few years are the opportunity of a lifetime to learn by failing, not in your courses, but in exploring your interests. So venture out. Join some of the 1,000+ student organizations. Take some classes that are not in your college. Participate in international immersions. Risk failure and learn from the experience. I want to leave you with one final thought, not about what you can do, but how you go about doing it. In our work, we have strived to conduct ourselves with the principle that it is not just what we do that is important, but how we do it. The people we study have much less power than we do. But no matter who we meet, we respect them for where they are in life and how far they have traveled in their journey. If we did not respect them, how could we hope to hear their stories and to be able to see through their eyes and to learn from them? If I treat someone differently because they lack power, then what does it say about me? Humanity, the relationships we have with other people, will define who we are and what our world will be. And that's especially true here on your campus. And this is your campus. You will determine the kind of community this university will be during your time here. You're going to meet a lot of new people in the coming weeks and months. Listen to each other. Develop flexibility in your thinking. Explore and help others explore. Class of 2019, change is everywhere. Each new class of students enters the university full of excitement, eager to learn. You will energize and change our campus community. And certainly, you will change during your years at Illinois. But you will not leave here a finished product. You will continue to learn and develop throughout your life. What the University of Illinois offers you now is a chance to learn how to learn. Not just through books and lectures, but also through research and experimentation. Not just from educators, but from each other. Not just among a group of fellow scholars and seekers, but from every human being you encounter along your journey. My work has given me full appreciation for how interconnected we are across the globe, and appreciation as well that these interconnections begin right here at home. We need a home. We need a foundation from which we can venture out. Illinois is my foundation, and that is what I believe Illinois will be for you. I wish you the very best in all your endeavors. Thank you. Thank you.